to Talking with Famous People, the world's only, greatest, most important, and most beautiful YouTube channel. Um, Getting a little rain. Nobody expected this. That's why I made the title of the stream. Did anybody expect me to stream right now? Maybe. If so, then my title's a lie. Because I say nobody expected this. So I could have also titled it and was thinking about titling it A Quiet Evening at Home. It's raining a little bit outside, which is always, I think, consistent with, at least, A Quiet Evening at Home. What's this, the air conditioning?
Oh yeah, I meant to turn it off.
That's fine. No Sage expected this? You did expect this. Well, I guess my title is a lie then. But I'm going to just claim I was just wrong. I thought I was going to say something about Newsom being recalled. No, I didn't even know he was. It just goes to show you, Jonathan, the day that the title works, right? It makes you think, oh, is this something I want to tune into?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody expected this. Nobody expected me to pay attention to a title to actually do a good title. It's just not in my MO. Yo, Bar, how are you? Nobody expected this. And without being able to expect things, what are we? We're just filthy animals, just one cell microbes. Newsom has disgraced the office made noble by Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger was not a bad governor. I'm not sure he's a good guy exactly, but not a bad governor. I think the second Jerry Brown governorship was also not bad. Pretty good, actually. When he was old, he became governor again. He was much less ideological than he was in the first place. In his first term when he was in the 70s. His father was also a governor before him. The Browns. I don't know if there's any other Browns kicking around considering politics or not. There's a trend YouTube title that says, if you're seeing this video, it's time. You're meant to see the universe showing it to you. Type shit. I noticed it. Huh. Well, I mean, nobody expected this is also something that a lot of people use in titles. You know, like, nobody expected Man of a Man or something, right? Or this left onlookers stunned. Something like that, you know. Now, people did expect the Spanish Inquisition. It's raining there, huh? Good water test on the pond. Yeah, well, unfortunately, I mortared a portion of it right before it started raining. But what I'm getting to see is where stuff pools up a little bit. The universe prepared you to see some guy's video, Lamau. Your spirit guides are directing you right here, buddy. Get ready for a life-changing video experience, because your spirit guides are not wrong when they send you someplace. How do I know what your spirit guides are doing? Right. Just trust me. Trust me on this one, okay? Okay, guys?
Hey, witness.
Hello, A Witness. How are you? Nobody expected this. Narcissistic, love bombing, gaslighting videos telling you you're the one. Oh. Well. Oh, by the way, Ronald Aiden, I forgot to mention it. You, sir, are the one. You're the reason why I started this video, and you're the reason why I'll continue it. You and you alone are the one. I'm well. Rachel, are you well as well?
I'm well as well.
Yeah. We went to the store today. We got groceries, so now we have equipped, rations. What's the word I'm looking for? We have stores, stores of stuff to get into. Still, I haven't come up with a word for it. Maybe I'll come up with it someday. I got some videos recommended that seemed kind of interested because it said it would parse and out through the ideological battle of the 20th century totalitarian cult tactics. There's always something to complain about if you try hard enough. Huh. So they claim to be like, here's the truth, here's what's correct. They don't know. Yeah. The dude, I'm sure, was incoherent. Okay. So when I got home, one of the first things I did, and this is pretty bad, I spilled the bong right away. Knocked it off the table, and I was just like, oh. But I put some Resolve carpet cleaner on it. The spray kind of foams up a bunch. I don't hardly smell it at all anymore. So let's dirty some more bong water. It sounds like every MBTI video I've watched. He has this way of talking about that lures you in like he's about to make some big point. It just never comes. I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff too. Cults are simple. It's a power thing with men usually trying to get laid. It does seem to be a common denominator in a lot of these cults. So what you just want is for me to fuck all you bitches. Ever hear Norm Macdonald's cult bit? I don't think I ever have. Hi, the deal for real, the deal for real. Good idea. I'll just roll a joint though. Rolling a joint's not a bad idea. But I generally prefer bong rest, but I'm not really pleased with this bowl I have currently for this bong because it's got a narrow urethra and it doesn't pull through that well. But it's okay if I grind it. A good thorough grinding. Not a terrible shorthand for it. Guilt. It's not the other way around, certainly. But it's a little bit misleading because TI is very much somewhat about how you determine things. So it doesn't just think, it says what matters is the means and system integrity and stuff like that. So in that regards, it's kind of like how, but it asks the question why, whereas TE asks the question how. You left your bong at home. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to transubstantiate this bong rip from my lungs to your brain, Ronald Layton. The power is vested in me as archpastor of God's Big Heaven Church. I hereby transubstantiate this bong rip to you. that is illustrative of the importance of punctuation. I couldn't feel it obviously because you got all the impact from it. I hope you weren't, you know, standing on top of a ladder or something at the time. I mean, the thing is, kind of an important thing to remember is, I guess, how useless TI is. Nobody wants precise articulation of why they are wrong. All right, let's look here. I think, yeah, it's not currently raining. I'm worried about these plants getting all fallen over again. But I did some extra propping stuff. I got it tied with twine. I've got it propped up. I don't think it's going to get too much worse. It's getting a little worse over here. Is the water weight is just too much, you know. They're already super weighed down with buds, and I kind of wish it would just stop raining, even though normally I'm a big fan of rain. But, you know, I did a variety of things today to help prevent that from happening again, because it was quite a disaster when it happened the first time, when I came out in the morning after a full night's sleep and it had been raining all night, and like all the plants were all falling over into the dirt and stuff. It was a big hassle to try to get it fixed. Also because, where are my other glasses? Let's see if they might be in here. Where are my other glasses? I want to know. Well, they're gone forever, apparently. So we'll just have to deal with that. Now.
Oh no.
I'll have these glasses. Got my cigarettes. Let's see here. You get bogged down in why stuff, I think. Got an application for passports out. Is wanderlust indicative of any particular function and type in general? It's probably absolute value SC, I would guess. But it could be, you know, of course, SI would be absolute value as well. So, I mean, the thing is, it's got to be an absolute value of SC more than SI. Why can it never truly be answered? Because it is subjective. No, I mean, that's just, if you're asking somebody, why did you do this, then that's subjective. So you're asking them for their subjective justifications. But if you're asking, why should I have to pay this fine, for example, then you're asking the other person to justify their advocacy. I don't think about that stuff unless I'm in an actual problem situation, though. Using stuff as a tool is TE, I think, or SE. Well, using stuff as a tool is the SE part after the TE has been done, presumably. What are the shorthands you'd think of for the rest of the function? In some minimal format, try to boil the difference. A function into short diametric pairs of phrases. Well, you wouldn't compare TI and TE if you were to do that, right? You compare TI and FI. Disinterested, interested. You compare TE and FE. Solvency, grace. What's an absolute value? There's no absolute function. There's an absolute value which says it's an end in itself, you know, versus instrumental value, which means it's only valuable as a means to some other end that you find valuable. Me making that pond, if he researched it before, then isn't that TE using the info as a tool? Well, research is kind of a tricky one to answer that on Heroland, because it's both the right way to do things if you don't already know, and it also depends on how you're utilizing it. So FE is also going to research it, Google it, or whatever, and the difference is that TE is looking to. I mean, the bottom line is, I guess they have specific kinds of questions in mind linked to their specific project. FE, on the other hand, would say, how does one do this kind of project? An absolute value for me is extroverted intuition. So just coming on the internet and yammering and answering people's questions and talking, that's an end in itself, which is why I don't do all the things that one ought to do and one wants to make one's YouTube channel successful, because that's not an absolute value for me. That would be more of an extroverted sensing kind of absolute value, just straight up impacts. Efficiency is not an absolute value for me. That's why I didn't research how to make the pond first. Ideation is, or originality, I guess. Just general creativity is. So accordingly, I knew I could research it at any point, and I did at some point have a question that I had to research a little bit. I looked into the difference between concrete, mortar, and pasting compound and stuff like that. But but I didn't want to have anybody else's input, because I wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it, regardless of whether it works. But working, it would be nice. It should work, okay? If it doesn't, I'll figure it out then. I'll adjust then. See, that's the thing, is part of not liking TE is being constructive rather than executive. I like the kind of things that you do as you go. Like, do a little bit, then adjust, figure out a little bit, then go. You don't have to do what I used to call pre-work, where you lay out the ordination of things, etc., and take into account me and me and me. I'm working over. Let's see. Is this a term you're using about the cognitive stuff you talk about, rather than the general philosophical sense of value? No, I mean, I'm just saying you have either, you know, an absolute value, which is to say it's an end in itself. Like, I don't value driving as an end in itself. Some people do, right? Some people love to drive, especially on roads around here. If they were in a Mini Cooper, they'd really get off on it. Some people like to ride their motorbike around the block. For me, that kind of thing is just a means to an end. I'll ride the motorbike to get someplace I have to get to, but and so in that sense, it's an absolute. It's valued instrumentally. I value having the ability to get from place to place and to drive someplace. I value driving well because it allows me to get to where I'm going safely and successfully and quickly. You might call it an extra improvisation. It's not a bad term, but I'd say it's a constructive workflow, which is to say, it assumes kind of an interfacing workflow that allows you to easily enough, make missteps and then decide to change direction. And I really have, it's played out like that too. I started with concrete, that I got concrete mix, and then I determined that I didn't like the way that looked. I tried applying rocks with silicone. I tried. Eventually, I set it on mortar, and I've got it the way I want it looking, and I still have to go back over and do another thing. So it's going to end up being a lot of different layers because of my figured out as I go away. Like for a while, I was quite frustrated. I couldn't get it to look nice with my mortar spreading tool, and then I tried using a paintbrush, and it was like, ta-da! That's the solution. Now I can get it to look all smooth. So I'm a little concerned though about this mortar I just put in today because it got rained on immediately afterwards. So I'll probably have to put in another layer, put another layer of mortar there. If I'm running shotgun, we're listening to industrial. I guess you're not riding shotgun. I'm just using it to draw a distinction, no sage, between something you value as an end in itself versus something you only value as a means to an end. And that correlates with that goes along with our cognitive functions. Um, I still haven't managed to get everything I need to smoke a cigarette outside.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
It only took me like 3 trips in and out of the house to successfully get everything I need. Well, I mean, pleasure, sure, like, but the point is what you find pleasurable. Like, I've been enjoying working on this pond, at least some of the time. I definitely don't dislike it. It's fun, and it's fun to see my idea come together and be concretized. It's a nice marrying of NE and SE, and also SI. I'm tending to my nest, so it was pleasurable. Is it going to be pleasurable for everybody to try to make that thing? No. That's the point, is that, but it's more than just things that you find pleasurable, right? An absolute value is to say that, like, I think that relevance is very important, and I think that I don't tend to think the same, I don't tend to afford the same amount of respect to experience as I do to intuition or relevance. Like, this is certainly especially true on the external metaphysical field. I don't care what your expertise is, your experience is, whatever. That's not going to impress me one bit. Your ideas have to withstand my scrutiny on their merits. And it doesn't matter how much great music you put out before. If you put out something crap now, I'm not going to like it. I'm going to determine the quality of things purely on NI grounds, because that's the absolute value for me. Somebody who has SI5 might have a different, will have a different prioritization there. Sure, lots of things are sad as ends in themselves, right? Like, you might try to reduce everything that you seek as an end in itself, um, to down into pleasure, but that's uh, that's a mistake, right? So, like, I value correctness as a means to an end, not as an end in itself per se. And the reason I know that is in part because it doesn't really matter to me, like if Rachel's correct or whatever, or if things are fair to me. I don't really care. Only absolute value I could think of for me would be freedom and not being restricted or confined by obligations, etc. Well, that's not an absolute value. What you're saying is the only thing that you can imagine that you would uphold as a value that you would affirm or something like that. I'm not talking about that kind of thing. This isn't an argument, right? It's what you like to do and what you don't like to do. What you like to do is the fun part of your job, right? What you don't like to do is the boring part of your job. Like when I was a director of the debate school and the head coach, I liked doing the coaching parts. I did not like doing the administration parts. One of them was in my wheelhouse naturally and aligned with my absolute values. Namely, it allowed me to be creative, ideational, generating cases for every new topic, right? And it allowed me to get good FE. I got to engage with this group of young people who looked up to me, and I had a lot of positive team kind of experiences. Um, got a lot of respect from parents and stuff like that. So it was great. The administration part required a lot more TESE and SI stuff. Just continuing to do that which you've already familiarized yourself with. Well, I mean, here, if it were high paying enough, you'd probably do it for at least a little while. Does anybody buy stuff out of pity, like they have a hard time saying no because they feel bad? Yes, people do that. I don't think I do that, but people do. Am I in a cave? No, I'm in my backyard smoking a cigarette. When we use the term value in debate, we're talking about something like justice, equality, um, life, sanctity of life, quality of life. Those are values that people affirm or negate, right? And you can say your arguments either uphold them or they don't. That's not what I'm talking about with cognitive functions. What I'm talking about is people valuing things either instrumentally or as the reward, either as the task part or as the reward part. So, like for Rachel, it's very important that I always be fair. It's less important that I always be socially graceful. And that's important for us because I'm not always socially graceful, and oftentimes I can have terrible FE, yelling at people, etc. See you later, message. No, it's just water dripping here from a drippy rain gutter. Because it was raining a little while ago, but it's not raining anymore. And it's not supposed to rain anymore at all until, for days anyway. So I think that when we go back inside, I'm going to, well, I am going to make some dinner. The question is, what am I going to make? And I'm inclined to just do a couple of these little steaks we got on the barbecue. Rachel's probably going to tell me she's not hungry yet. Hey, Rachel. Are you getting hungry at all? No? I told you. No, I don't want leftovers. I'm thinking to make a steak.
Oh, no.
It's so steady. Good night. Good night. It is steady. Steady like a clock. Steady like the ticking of my heart.
Oh, your heart is so steady ticking.
Mm-hmm.
Can I touch your buns again?
Sure, darling. That's what they're there for.
Oh,
That's why.
juicy.
That's why I was featured on the aerobics video, Buns of Steel. So, I think we're going to go fire up the queue and I'm going to cook up one of the little steaks.
I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, though.
You're welcome. I saw another praying mantis last night.
You did?
Yeah. Right on this window right here. It was right here. Just walking up the window. What are the dreams that all of tomorrow's yesterdays bring to mind? Hi, I'm Eric, and today we're going to talk about dreams and living your dreams. A long time ago, I said to myself, Eric, what can you do to make a difference? And that's when I decided I was going to devote myself to helping people live their dreams. That was my dream. And look, here I am living it. Obviously, that makes me an expert on living dreams. As I like to say, don't just dream that you're living, live your dream. Okay, that's one of my many mottos you're going to learn tonight. Wow, that's a big whatever it is. What is that? Oh my god, it's such a big daddy long legs. Or whatever it is. Look at this thing. It's massive. What is that big bug? Nobody even knows. I asked all the world's fanciest entomologists, and none of them could say what it was. I'm gonna get my torch if I'm gonna start the queue up. What are my other options? It seems like I have other things to do. Oh, I can't really do that right now. I could, but no, not really. The number one thing on my list of things that I need to do is put the rest of the rocks down by the mailbox. But I can't really do that right now. It's dark outside. There are constant earthquakes. That's not really a reason. It's just that it's dark outside and kind of cold too. I'm gonna get my sweatshirt and put it on. It's cold like the North Pole out there. Which, in case you don't know, is on the colder side. North Pole, South Pole. Like, warm up a bit, will you? Nobody even wants to go to you because it's so cold. Those are mosquito eaters. Not sure of the name. Watched them for hours one night. Well, I think then it's fair to call it a daddy long legs because daddy long legs are mosquito eaters. But of course, that doesn't mean that all mosquito eaters are daddy long legs. We can just make a rough guesstimate that there might be a daddy long legs. Daddy long legs, mommy short arms. You be the judge. Okay, I've got my torch now. I'm ready to fire up the cue. Go a little stake down the old gullet. A hearty serving of protein with no carbs, no added sugar. Exactly what a hearty man in his 50s needs. Okay. I'm going to pull the barbecue out right around here. Okay. Now I'm going to push the cart of wood over. This piece of wood I dropped over here. That bad boy like that. I'm not really starting this with kindling per se, so it's going to be a bit of a. It's going to take a good bit of a torching to get it going. But once I get it going, then I can easily dampen or build it to my specifications. Okay. Let's try that. Seems like a good starting spot. This fire here is built to just go up the middle until it gets started, you know. Then it's gonna torch you right there. You might say, that's not really started. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Don't worry. The night is young. seems to be good progress there. A few pieces of wood I got that are too big. I went out to the woods and got some wood. Mostly I tried to get pieces I thought were the right size for the barbecue. I did get a few pieces that are too big. This one's fine. Okay. Looking good. Coming along nicely. This fire here, obviously, will need to burn down a bit before you can do anything with the coals. I could try to break these sticks that are too long into appropriate sized pieces. But I'm not going to work them too big. This one, though, I probably could do it. Then we'll put this onto the fire. No, not marshmallows. I'm going to put a steak on here once I get a nice bed of coals going. Okay. So, we'll leave that go for a second. I'm going to come over here. Have a few puffs off of this cigarillo. And then, you gotta go inside and grab the steak that I want to cook. I keep meaning to get this thing that I keep forgetting to get. I need to get a headlamp so that when I'm doing things at night, I don't have to hold a flashlight. Okay. Our fire is coming along nicely. As you can see, hey witness, they're like $20 at Walmart. The Energizer ones are good. Headlamps. Oh, headlamps, right. We don't have any Walmarts near us. They have headlamps at the hardware store and at the grocery store, but I keep forgetting to get one. Or just don't get it. I don't know why. Makes things a lot easier at night. It's difficult to, most things are difficult to do one-handed. And if you don't have a headlamp, then at night you're basically working one-handed. You want at least 200 lumens. I'll keep that in mind. Maybe I'll try to go a little higher than that. So that fire's burning real nice. No concerns about starting a fire in the wilderness tonight with it all rainy. Of course, there's not much of a concern with that when I have the fire in the middle of my driveway either. It's about as safe as it can be. It's about as far from nature as it's going to get around here. So this stick here is my fire poking stick. Which I've had as my fire poking stick for a while now. Yes, the end of it's getting kind of burned and stuff. But it's still a good fire poking stick. You can see it's got the right heft to it, right length. It's a good fire poker. Fire poker, you're the one. You poke my fire, so much fun. Fire poker, you're the pokiest stick. That's one way to see looming spirits start a fire. That fire looks tribal. It looks like something might materialize lurking out of the fog there. Oh yeah, well, it's funny, you can see it on the camera, this like smoke and stuff, more than you can see it in real life. And you see the fire mostly. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and get steaks. Make the computer wake up. Put the TV back where it's supposed to be on. Everything went to sleep, of course. Why? Because it's scoundrelly scoundrels, that's why. Those coals get super hot first. Well, that's the thing. I gotta kind of build a bed of coals with wood. So I don't have any actual charcoal. You kind of gotta let it go down, build it back up, let it go down, and then probably stoke it halfway through cooking the steak too. Depends, I guess. Hopefully not. Hopefully I can avoid that. I just need to build a big enough bed of coals, and I can avoid that. Go ahead and eat, Trouble. You don't eat my house. Perfect. Which of these steaks am I going to eat? I'll just eat this one, it's fine. I want to get these out of this big package. So, pick one of them. I'll put two of them in one of these bags here. Take them both fit. That's better. That's a more reasonably sized package. Okay. Now this needs to go in the trash. Oh, I don't think I mentioned it, but I had my first run-in with bears getting into my trash the other day. I was sitting in here watching TV or something, and I heard what was clearly somebody like messing with something over there by my car outside. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is somebody over there doing something? And I thought, why would they be over there? It must be a truck or something. So I came out this door. And then I walked around to the side, and it was a mother bear and her cub. And she was running down my hill with my trash bag from the trash can in her mouth. I had to go afterwards and get all the, pick up all the trash that had been strewn about, of course. I need something to put this on. That's a bed of coals, all right. Alright, well, let me build it up again. This will work fine because it gets, it's gonna get hot and burn up faster than it did the first time, so it'll still have some residual coals. But I need something to put this down on. I wasn't thinking when I brought this outside with nothing to put it on. I was thinking it was gonna go directly onto the grill or something. But I had been paying better attention to that sort of stuff instead of just me paying attention to this, yammering on about yiggity yah and yoggity you. Maybe I wouldn't be walking around with a piece of meat in my hand. Like nice marbling steak is not bad for choice. It's not prime, you know. I thought so too when I saw it at the store. I was like, yeah, this looks pretty good for choice. There. I could try to like put some stuff on this. Right. Put some of that dry rub on it. That should be fine. What? I don't want to watch you eat. Are you still hungry? I wonder how he got that wound on his throat. He blew his chin. Poop, a mother with her cubs is bad news bears. No, they didn't. They were running away when they heard me come out the front door and started running down the hill with my trash bag. And I just came out and I was just like, oh shit, it's bears. I was like, get out of here, bears. Oh, don't take that. Oh, no. The trash started spilling all out of the trash bag as I was watching it run down the hill with it. Oh, no. Oh, just, oh. It was exactly like that. Oh. So, that's what happened with the bears. I had to go not just down my hill to get trash from the trash bag, but I walked down into my neighbor's backyard and picked it up from out there too. It was a mess. But I got it all picked up easy enough. Expected what? Oh, this live stream. Show me, dude. Nobody expected this live stream. No joy. You didn't expect it? Nobody did. I didn't even expect it. What? You did expect it? Are you saying my title's a lie? Okay. What we can do now is we can put the grill on it because the fire is a low enough elevation. There we go. Then we get the grill on there. Let the fire clean up the grill a bit. Just gotta let that burn. I'm sure they have this, but a nice feature for a barbecue to have would be a crank thing you turn that lifts the grill up higher than the top of the grill. You know, what do you call that? Cauldron? Lifts it up above the level of the grill cauldron so you can put more wood and stuff underneath it. That'd be a nice feature to have for barbecue. Tub, the cauldron, the tub, the body of the grill versus the actual grill. There's more than one grill in a grill, of course. There's the bottom grill and the upper grill. You can't get them confused because the bottom grill is too small to sit on the stick out things for the top grill. And that's one to grill on. Starting sleepy week tomorrow, tonight, whatever you want to say there. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna get a few days of just kind of unadulterated sleep before I see the dentist again on Monday. My tooth does feel better today than it did yesterday. It is improving. Maybe not super fast, but it is improving. So I'm hopeful. I'll take another antibiotic before I go to bed tonight. This is pretty good lighting, huh? Live streaming by firelight. I think I'm pretty well lit. Of course there's lights on over there too. But this is a nice kind of lighting effect because you get this palpitating brightness and darkness. Most artificial lighting doesn't even attempt to do that. Well, some of it does. They have those fake flame light bulbs. They've got blinking lights that move in different directions and like Vegas signs and stuff. The fire is really just doing a great job. Burning nice and evenly. We'll be about ready for the steak pretty soon. I'm going to need to get something to mess with the steak with, like a spatula or tongs or something. Okay. Steak's about ready to go on now because the fire's about ready to take it. You might say, Eric, that's way too much fire to put the steak on. Well, I'm not going to put it over direct heat. It's still a little too high. But, you know, wood goes from burning big like this to coals pretty quick. Okay. Let's set that down right there. Off to the side. That'll be fine. Let's let that be for a second. When the flames die out, I'll put the lid on. Seems like we're getting still a couple drops around. Well, that should be just a couple of drops here. Since according to Microsoft Weather, which is never wrong, I'm joking, of course, because it's always wrong. It's not going to rain anymore tonight. Okay, I'm going to get a stake moving device of some kind. Perhaps even 2 stake moving devices. No, I need this one. This is a good stake mover right here. It's really all the stake mover you need. What to expect when you're expecting a baby? That one seems pretty easy if it's a trivia question. All right. I'm going large. I'm having myself a Corona. Sure, it's got carbs in it. You know what? I don't need to eat 0 carbs all day long. Just have a reasonable amount of carbs. It's fine. Now that's a tasty beverage. That's the kind of beverage that makes you feel SI satisfaction. Watch out, Capillo. Trouble? Okay. As you see, the fire is very small now. And the steak has already had a lot of good cooking done to it. But it's going to need quite a bit more. Let's put the lid on now. There. Let's leave that lid on for a while. We'll let that steak cook. And we will learn all of our state capitals while we're waiting. Who wants to start? Alaska? Why, Juneau, of course, I think. For some reason, Juneau comes to mind. I don't know if that's actually the correct answer or not. What a lovely autumn we're having. It's already rained a couple of times. And while the rain stresses me a little bit out for the plants, which are can't really handle the additional weight on their branches right now. This rain today was minor enough that I think we escaped without any harms. I may have to redo some mortaring, but just to be sure it's set properly. I was thinking today about like what I'm what I would like to see myself doing more of is just enjoying the small things that there are to do without I guess getting stuck in a holding pattern of not doing things. And I was thinking about how when I was younger, the Adderall seemed to maybe do more, um, or it made me do more. It's true that this summer has seen me put this pond together, which was quite a big project. But I don't know if it's being older, some sort of biological thing, just tolerance for the drug or what. But I used to like feverishly work on stuff when I was sprung, and it just doesn't seem to happen anymore. If I do feverishly work on something, it's going to be something very pragmatic, like chores and stuff. I feel like I'm kind of getting to know myself in some regard. Maybe the first step in that process is coming to terms with all the stuff that's already in my SI. And it's been an uncomfortable process. Still ongoing, I suppose. But, my moods and general state of being and such, they link a lot to my dopamine levels. It feels like maybe like with the, overall my span has moved down a little bit. Like between Adderall bottles, my crash is lower, and when I come back up to sort of normal air, it gets a little lower in terms of dopamine. Or it could just be that I'm more reflective. Not really sure. Of course, it's difficult to know yourself when you've got one of your subjectivities polar and the other one fourth. Okay, I'm gonna get a plate. I bet this thing is about done. It wasn't frozen when I put it on. It was sort of frozen-ish. And the fire's pretty hot, but I'll give it a little bit more time on each side. But I'm gonna go get something to put it on. For example, a plate. No, I'm not worried about the calories here. I'm like pre-diabetic, so I'm trying to manage my blood sugar and carbs convert into sugars. So, in fact, I feel like I'm having trouble getting enough calories because I'm not supplementing so much of my protein with carbs. I think this is going to be just fine right here. I don't think it needs any more time at all. Okay, that seems awful quick for a steak there. Yeah, well, it's a small steak with a hot fire. Yeah, small steak, hot fire. I think it's done. Yeah, it's done. I can tell by how it feels. Okay. Okay, let's go put this inside. Hi, new group. You don't need to know yourself. That's what spouses are for now. Frank Ferdinand is dead. You mean Archduke Frank Ferdinand? I heard a fun joke. The comedian said, I've been living with a girl, but it didn't work out. She found out I was living there. It's not a bad joke. You had a nice juicy ribeye? This is not that. This is choice, not prime. But I think it's nicely marbled, and hopefully it's delicious. You can get delicious steaks that are choice. They don't have to be prime. So Rachel and I pulled a real boneheaded maneuver today. We went to the supermarket trying to get everything we needed. We got no paper towels, and we're completely out of them. Like we used the last paper towel on this roll like with the second we came home, and then we realized we didn't have any paper towels. How? What a big mistake. That's kind of like a super important thing to have is paper towels. Okay. We've got the steak here. Now I've got my fork and my knife. Why is the term bonehead? Well, because it suggests that instead of there being a soft part inside of your skull, namely the brain, that it's just bone all the way through. Let me get my beverage. Yeah, Fly Guy had the same basic answer as I did. Now, Alex, you gotta let your steak rest. You're not letting it rest enough. Zip it, you. It's just gonna be too rare. No, that's fine. No. You mean the bone-headed Triceratops? Triceratops? That's good. I mean, it's better than good. It's fantastic. Thanks, Rachel. I'm a really cute boy, but I was an even cuter newborn baby. I grew up so fast. Mm-hmm. This reminds me of one time when I had steak for dinner. Yeah, it wasn't very long. I moved through the phases quickly. Stegosaurus had a peanut brain. That's hate speech against peanuts. For that, it has to be the size of the pea. Is that what that means? I thought it meant your brain was made out of peas. I didn't really think that. But there seems to be some sort of hate against legumes here. Peanuts and peas are both legumes. Like, why did they get synonymous? Why did legumes become synonymous with dumbness? Blockhead is good, but that's hate speech against Minecraft. Lentil brain, you know. You're a legume. Deal with it. Oh my god, did you just call me a legume? Yeah. I'm sitting here eating a bowl of nuts. I don't got time for your legumes. Oh yeah, or are there peanuts in there? Yeah. You're eating legumes right now, idiot. Oh, I got burned. Why is it called a peanut? Well, presumably it's a legume like a pea, but it seems like a nut. Should I season this steak hot as here? I sprinkled some of this dry rub stuff we have that came with the Omaha steaks that Rachel's mom got for us. When I have little bits of gristly steak left, I feel like that's one of the only times where I really miss having a dog. I just use the dry rub fine. I think it has salt and pepper in it, so. Alright, these pieces aren't good. So, all of this is like useless part. You eat leftovers like a muff hugger? How does a muff hugger eat leftovers? Oh, a muff hugger, I see. You meant something different but more profane. Stop hugging my muff. How you getting your arms around that? Alright, now I need a little something else because that's not enough for dinner. Rachel said I could have the leftovers. Oh, she has a lot of leftovers. Look at that. Now I want something sweet. I'm gonna have some dried apricot. It's you know, better than candy. Apricotty. What's better than candy? Lots of things. Not having to get up and pee in the night. That's better than candy. I now understand that the reason I was having to get to pee so much is because it's like I had this nightly routine of eating a bunch of candy right before bed. And then every time I get to pee, I eat more candy. Because, you know, I've never had any reason to moderate or think about my diet at all because I've never had to like watch my weight or anything. I heard that if you intake honey as a refined sugar, all then your glucose regulates over time. Maybe. I mean, I try to get my sugars as sucrose or lactose rather than glucose. But I had such a bad diet that just changing it to be somewhat mindful makes a big difference. Like I can still put a little bit of coffee creamer as well as having happened in my coffee instead of just eliminating coffee creamer entirely, which is nice. I like my coffee with some powdered creamer in it, and I still drink a non-alcoholic beer or two a night. I just can't drink six of them. I got some. What made me address my dietary habits? It was having to get up to pee too much in the night. Um, that was it was starting to really wear on me because you know I wasn't getting good sleep because I was having to get up too much. And now that I've changed my diet, I like have to get up maybe once during the night. There's a delay in the stream. Every so often that clockwise circle appears. Well, I don't know what would be causing it. Maybe my internet needs to be reset or something. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's get the effect of social media. Yeah, I was surprised by how dramatic and immediate the impact was when I changed my diet. I started seeing the difference right away. I pissed like a camel in the morning, one giant pee to rule them all. So, I had a piece of candy yesterday. Haven't had one in a long time, but I had one yesterday. I used to eat like shit tons of it. Just candy, like lots of candy. But it's much harder to not eat very many carbs than it is to not eat candy. Of course, there's added sugar and lots of stuff too. Like I've had to give up on the flavored yogurt. Well, if you're drinking too many regular alcoholic beers, then the alcohol is harder on your system than anything else drinking you're doing because alcohol is also one of the things like carbohydrates. It just gets converted immediately into sugar. I'm going through this process and I'm not Batman. What process are you going through, Oliver Penis? The thing about diet is like some people are more susceptible to dietary problems than others, right? Like some people have to watch their weight, or they'll just continue to put on weight and it gets unhealthy. Some people, they be sensitive to certain things like gluten or might be lactose intolerant, whatever. But yeah, it's definitely a problem. I do a lot of burgers and pizza, but I didn't feel any real problems. So the 10 beer days started sagging up. Yeah, that's gonna tear you up a bit. Alcohol is a very difficult but drug for your body to process compared to most drugs. Most drugs don't have anything like the hangover that alcohol has. I quit drinking when I was 42, but you know, it, it would have been better if I had stopped sooner. I mean, there's never been a moment when I've regretted quitting drinking. There might have been moments where I felt like, gosh, I wish I could drink right now or something, but it's like nothing comes of it. On commercials, they always make it seem like the gateway to some grand adventure, but nothing ever comes of it. Sean recommends more beer, but he is, after all, the independent vomiter. So maybe he upholds as a positive something that you don't. Humans have been eating burger, pizza, and beer for thousands of years. You will be fine. Good point. It makes a good point. At least if you're a beer drinker, you can replace it with non-alcoholic beer. If you're a drinker mostly of wine or spirits, then there's no replacement out there. Non-alcoholic beer tastes like beer, kind of, pretty much. Some of them taste more like beer than others. Just man up and handle the heart stoppages and chest pains. Man. You just gotta give your arteries and veins and stuff a stern talking to. You unclog right now. Don't make me climb up in there and unclog you for you. Rub some dirt on it. Exactly. Thanks, New Groove. Appreciate that sentiment. Oh, Mr. Kitty. Mr. In and Out Kitty. Pick a side. In or out. That cat. He's such a pill. There are things that your body, parts of your body that have a expiration date, like you're not going to see perfectly at age 54. I have to wear reading glasses to read the text on the chat here on my phone. Because your eyes, they just don't have that long a shelf life. The muscles that make the Iris, I guess it is. Go. No, wait. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Whatever it's called. They make it go bigger and smaller. They get weak and they can no longer zoom in as much as they used to. Same thing with your pancreas and sugar. It gets less good at processing what it's supposed to be doing after it's processed a certain amount of it. Like a car part almost. And oh my god, cat. Oh my fucking god. Will you just decide what you want to do? Maybe he wants me to go inside, I don't know. But, I'm not his bitch. He needs to learn that. I'm 42 and my eyeballs now developed astigmatism. Hopefully glasses fixes. I don't know about astigmatism at all, really. I don't know anything about it, but I know that my ability to read small text, I need glasses now, and I didn't used to. I feel like my hearing's still very good, but I do have tinnitus in one ear, which I got after I moved up here somehow when I got sick. I just bought $810 prescription Serengeti Delio glasses. That's expensive. Did your insurance cover any of that? Or did you just feel like busting out? You just felt like balling? You just felt like standing on business? Fly guy, shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Your eyeballs will thrive, huh? Dear Thriving Eyeballs magazine. That's standing on business. That's right. You guys clocking me? Rachel's informing me these are new phrases that people say. I'm standing on business. All right. Are you clocking? It means you're like paying attention, keeping track of what I'm saying, I guess. We out here eyeballing. Well, these glasses I got at the supermarket for, I believe, $11.99. Yeah, you clocking me? I'm standing on business. No, you're using it all wrong, Sean. No, it's not like that. You don't clock in. That's when you're going to work. You don't clock in, guys. You just clock, okay? You guys are so old, you don't even know the new expressions. Like, you're not youthful like me. I got my pulse on the Pulse of America via Rachel, who has her pulse on the Pulse of America. Unk is tripping. I'm not your unk, okay? Alright, let's pull some bong rips and then we'll see where we're at after that. Maybe I'll play a little song on the piano. And we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. We're gonna wait and see in the park. I thought it was the 4th of July. I like how mushrooms do what no other can do, and it's natural. Fly Guy admits something that I'm sure he took a lot of courage to admit this. He incorrectly likes mushrooms on pizza, even though that's clearly wrong. What could be wronger than mushrooms on pizza? I mean, fish, obviously. But as far as like vegetables go, and yes, in fact, mushrooms are a vegetable. Little known fact, actually, mushrooms are a legume, like a pea. So yeah, we don't want to put much. Nobody should eat mushrooms unless they're psychedelic mushrooms, because as a general rule, a universal rule, mushrooms are disgusting. Of course, it's well worth it to eat the ones that have psilocybin in them to endure the disgustingness. But even then, take whatever measures you can to get rid of the disgustingness. Namely, grind it into a powder, make it into like a little paste, and then quick swallow it. That's how Rachel and I do it. But if they don't get you high, why in the world would anyone eat mushrooms? They're like the kind of like gross, slimy things that clearly aren't meant to be eaten. Mexican joke of the day. I didn't want to eat anymore because my stomach didn't have much room. Did I do the right accent? Whoever ate mushrooms for the first time, they were obviously desperately hungry. And they didn't go, oh my God, these are good. They said, well, I guess this is food. You're convinced to put anchovies on your next pizza, huh? Well, I'm not sure you're going to be pleased with your decision to do that, but fill me in on how it goes. I'm curious. They are a fungus among us, but I don't want them in my mouth. There's a lot of things that I don't mind that they exist, but I don't want them in my mouth. Non psychedelic mushrooms are included in that list. So are it's pretty much every seafood. Like, ooh, would you like to try some sea urchin? It's very umami. No, I don't want to try that fucking gross ass shit. Are you kidding me? No, who would eat that? You're just showing off or something. Nobody wants to eat that crap. Here, have an oyster. It's raw. Oh, great. Well, I don't even want it cooked. Shrimps are gross. Shrimps are gross. Like every once in a while I'll have a shrimp, but by and large they're gross. There are some good seafood, like swordfish is good, but I feel bad about eating it. Because by and large, I think we should just leave the wild animals alone and just eat the animals that we grow to be eating. To be unilaterally correct? Oh, if it's plural, it would be fungi among guy. Swordfish is kind of amazeballs. Rachel and I had some fantastic halibut one time. Rachel likes to get lobster. You know, I will occasionally get wild source stuff like the tuna I get in the can, wild caught tuna. Something about eating something plucked from a cow pie that gives you a good experience. Eric's eyeballs missed the jokes. Unilaterally correct. Okay, Sean, you're right, I did. I just read what I thought it was going to say instead of actually checking to make sure it said it. And that's one to grow on. Well, see, he should say I'm a fungus. Seafood is not amazing. I think it's amazing that it lives and swims in the ocean. It doesn't need to be on my plate. Next time you want to eat something delicious, why don't you have a sea cucumber and think about that? I do it for tabs to caps, but without a good source, you never know what you're getting into. Right, that's the problem with dropping acid. You never know what you're getting into. Nevertheless, I've done mushrooms a shit ton in recent years, but I haven't done acid in a long time. I'd like to do it. You know, it'd be nice to have a nice firm acid trip, but not too firm, you know? The thing is, acid doesn't have the negative physical effects of like a little bit of feeling disrupted, feeling nauseous maybe, or just a little like, you get mushroom cold. Acid doesn't have those kind of physicalities to it, which I like that the absence of those. Also, you're in for a long ride. Mushrooms just 5.5 hours, and it's like you're never gonna really have too bad of a trip on mushrooms. Because hello, comedy flu, how are you doing? As he is stating that he's part of a collective fungi. He's merely stating his place in the collective fungi. I am one of the fungi, then he should have said, rather than a fungi. Acid is way bad. It's a unilateral approach to nowhere. I don't think it's bad. No, I mean, an acid trip is, I'd say, a little bit less predictable than a mushroom trip, and it depends on the trip. You know, I've had bad trips before, which are not any fun. Pretty hard to have a bad trip on mushrooms. But I also had amazing trips. I like that you're yellow Luigi. Yellow Luigi? I don't even know who that is. Sounds like something you made up. You cloggy clogs a lot? What are you so cloggy for? Always clogging so much. Just stop clogging already. You can hear it's still not really fully unclogged. Alright, how am I going to get this thing cleaned up? Let me get this. Alright, there, that's good enough. I remember feeling queasy throughout all my mushroom trips, and there's a weird emotional component that I get from them, not exactly pleasant. Sounds like my wife, Walton, your throat. She has weird emotional component to her mushroom trips that she doesn't necessarily like either. She takes mushrooms a few times, then she'll have like not such a good experience, and she won't take it for a long time. Let's take it again eventually. She gets pretty emo. I much prefer taking mushrooms when I'm on Adderall. Then that counteracts a lot of the SI stuff, like the nausea, general kind of physical disruption from it. The biggest advantage of mushrooms of all, of course, is that it's comparatively easy to get them. But it makes sense that they're easier to get than some others because no, we don't. We're done. They're cashed, Rachel. I cashed them today. Tomorrow starts sleepy week. Sorry. It actually lasted a little longer than usual this month, probably because of my tooth. Because there were multiple days where I didn't. I just took like one or two because I wanted to recover better. Whenever queasy in your stomach, that's interesting. It makes sense. Yeah, well, I don't. Normally, mushrooms these days don't make me feel queasy, but they used to some of the time. Uh, it used to be also that they make me feel queasy on the way up. Then there'd be this moment where I either puke or not puke, and then after that, I just felt fine regardless, either way. But nowadays, they don't seem to make me feel queasy. I don't eat that many of them at a time. I don't eat them that often. I believe in these things called, right? This is the best way to think of mushrooms, called the mushroom gods. The mushroom gods decide various things for you and your relationship to mushrooms. They decide if you're taking them too often or for the wrong reasons. Like if you're sick, your mushroom trip will probably be you sleep. You maybe purge a bunch of like mucus and maybe throw up in the sleep because that's what your body needs, and the mushroom god dictated to be so. Yeah. Well, those mushroom docs make me want to go to Oakland and get some mushrooms. I'm not going to feel very motivated to do that next few days. So maybe sometime next week after Monday, my dentist appointment, then maybe I'll make a run to Oakland. and do some mushrooms. I could try taking mushrooms with Wellbutrin. I do have that. I'm not sure if I ever tried that before. Wellbutrin, like Adderall, um, has a dopamine reuptake inhibiting quality to it. It's how you ingest them. Uh, I mean, that has something to do with it. It's like if you just eat them with like crunch, crunch, crunch in your mouth, they're more gross and you're more likely to feel nauseous. Um, I think there are a lot of factors. It has lots to do with where your body is at the moment when you take it too. So, my stomach's not always as settled at any given moment as any other given moment. Sometimes I got food in my belly, sometimes I don't. Do you drink them as tea? I did that for a while. Then I went back to consuming them because I didn't like the way that it felt like I was missing a little piece of the trip somehow. Like it came on faster, but it didn't seem to peak as high, and it seemed to wear off a little quicker. You drink and eat them. Well, then you probably don't have that problem. If I had a large enough supply of them, I might experiment more, but it's hard to get them unless I go all the way to Oakland, which I rarely feel like doing, obviously. You know what I feel like doing? Said no one ever. I've got a feeling, but I don't know which one. I've got a feeling that it's only just begun. Some of these feelings are sad. Some of these feelings are fun. But none of these feelings are the one I'm feeling right now. Yes, I've got a feeling, but I don't know which one. I've got a feeling, is it bad or is it fun? I've got a feeling, and that's okay. But I can't tell which feeling it is today. My song, I've got a feeling, but I can't tell which one. I don't know which one. I hate myself, shoot me in the head with a baseball bat. I hate myself for everything I've done, this and that. I hate myself more than anybody else could possibly ever hate me. I don't know what chord goes there. Well, that's partially playing on the piano. You know, I'm not. I don't know how to play the piano well enough to know by ear what goes there. Two bears robbing my trash can. One was big and one was small. The bigger one was likely a mother, and the one that was small, a dad or sister or brother. I said, get out of here, bears. Get away from my trash. But they just ran away down the hill with the trash bag in their mouth, super fast. I said, get out of here, bears. Who invited you? And if I did, I wouldn't serve garbage. That's not the kind of thing I do. Get out of here, bears. Get out of my trash. Don't take away the bag in your mouth. You're leaving trash all over my ass. Now I got to go down the hill and pick up all the trash that you strewed all around. What you doing there? You're just putting trash on the ground. What did I take? Thanks, Touch Tamoto. There were bears outside today. Not today, yesterday. A mother and her cub. I was sitting here and I heard my trash can being knocked over or tossed around or something out here. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was sure some person was out there. I thought maybe the truck pulling up. Went at the front door. Fortunately, when I saw there was no truck, I walked around and I saw the bears. The mother had the kitchen trash bag in her mouth and was running down the little driveway on the hill, with her baby bear. And I said, "What are you doing? No, don't take the trash." And she started just throwing trash all down the hill. I had to go pick it all up. Well, I mean, and then I put the trash cans with food in them in the garage. But I don't want to have to do that all the time, but I guess I'm just going to have to. Because obviously, she didn't just take the trash bag out of the can. She also knocked the trash can over. So even if it had been a trash can where the lid stays on the trash can better, she still would have gotten into it. Because I don't have like bear-proof trash cans or anything. So anyway, that last song was called "Get Out of Here, Bears." I picked up all the trash and it's fine now. I had to go into the neighbor's backyard and pick up trash back there too. I didn't go like deep into their backyard. I just got all the stuff I could see. And who knows where the trash bag ended up? I didn't pick up the trash bag itself. Like she was just basically just carrying it and strewing all the trash out behind her as she went. They made bear-proof cans mandatory here. 6 blocks away in Arcadia, they knock over the regular cans where it's easier. Huh. Well, I don't really need to worry about it if my trash cans are in the garage. I don't think they're gonna break through the garage door to get to the trash. It might like paw at the garage door in theory, but I don't think so. That was my first bear in the trash incident. We've lived here for years now. I'm surprised it took so long, frankly. Bear-proof trash cans, I guess, would be metal trash cans with like locking lids or something. I just need to what I have to be attentive to is to make sure I put all the food trash, if possible, all the kitchen trash, mostly is what that is, into one trash can, compact it all, like put it in one trash can, and you basically separate things that bears might want and things that bears don't want. They're plastic researched to take 5 minutes for them to break into. Well, that's a lot faster than it took the bear to get into my trash can. I mean, it's a lot longer than it took the bear to get into my trash can. It took him probably 1 second to get in there, I guess. See you later, Tets. Have a good night. Sleep well. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. So, I don't know if you heard Cameron, but we had a lot of fall down issues with when the rains came. The added weight on the plant branches, But I went out and I did some tying things up, propping things up, etc. So we still have. I mean, we didn't really lose anything. We just had to harvest a couple branches early. It wasn't really a big problem. But, I mean, it was a big hassle. It was a big problem for me, but it was not. It didn't cause any great loss. I don't know why YouTube recommended this to me, but that song was awesome. Well, thanks, Genevieve. How nice of you to say. I like playing the piano, making stuff up, but like I said, it's not really an instrument I'm very skilled at. Apparently, carrying this beer is not something I'm very skilled at either. It'd be fun to be a bear and laugh at trash cans you can conquer. I just borrowed JJ's bike and rode for the first time in a while. Really? How was it? Was it pleasant? Imagine riding a bicycle being pleasant. It's a brisk evening. Quite brisk. I did a little tree trimming today to just get the level of the trees here a little higher up and also keep it away from the house a bit, Looks nice, if I say so myself. It feels like more roomy under the tree or something. Because it's taller. The bottom of the canopy is taller. Well, I'm glad the rain today stopped when it did. This time I took precautions and made sure I tied up a couple of other additional things besides the stuff I had to tie up after the last rain. The stuff fell down. And it didn't rain that much today, and then it seems like everything pulled through that just fine. I forget to do that. Oh, alright. You're such a schmarky barrack. I am a schmarky barrack, it's true. I'm gonna smoke this cigarette. Maybe I will. Uh-oh. No, 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 no. Okay, I'm gonna get this little mouse here to get it outside. No, kitty, no! Leave it alone. Here, mouse, go outside. Kitty, get out of here. Shoot. Where is it? Get out of here. Shoot, get, Pepito, get out of here. Where did it go? I know. Come on, this way. Come on, this way. There you go. Okay. And put that little mouse outside. Whew. That was tough. Okay, good night. I'm gonna go now and I'm gonna watch Peacemaker. So have a good night and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.